Hello and welcome to Building the Premier Accounting Firm. I'm your host, Roger Knecht, president of Universal Accounting Center. This is a podcast dedicated to helping business owners of bookkeeping, accounting, and tax businesses run their businesses effectively and profitably, offering quality accounting services and getting paid what they're worth. It's here that we have a variety of topics each and every month, basically to help you focus on those things that matter, ranging from marketing, selling, getting clients, pricing, client onboarding, client retention, mental health, and so much more. Each and every week we have on the experts. These are experts that are actually here to help us focus on those things that matter. And every week I have on people that you need to be hearing from, and today's going to be no exception. I'm happy to welcome to the show Ann Carden. She happens to have more than 43 years of business, marketing, and sales experience with over 32 years as an entrepreneur. She has built 7 successful businesses, selling 5 of them, and is the current owner of 2 of them. She has been a coaching consultant for basically 13 years and has worked with several hundred small business owners, consultants, coaches, and professional entrepreneurs over 60 different types of businesses to further their success. So, Ann, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
This is going to be a lot of fun. You know, I think a lot of what you have experienced and done is going to really resonate with our audience. So the first thing I want to begin with is the fact that you have had 7 businesses. Clearly, you've been bitten by the entrepreneurial bug. Tell us, what is it that draws you to wanting to start another business?
Yes, crazy, right? I've been an entrepreneur since I was about 7 or 8 years old, I think. So even as a kid, I found ways to make my own money. And I love the freedom. At this point, Roger, I'm completely unemployable anyway, because I've been in business so long for myself. But I just love it, not only the innovation that you get to have in entrepreneurship, but I love being able to create my own schedule, do my own thing, and no limits on the amount of money and impact that you can make.
So when it comes to starting as many as 7 businesses, one of the things that I do want to ask is, where do you find the time to fit in that much effort? And the reason why I ask, just to give it some context, is as we work with the various clients we service as accounting professionals, we're kind of indirectly working on multiple clients. So it's, 7 businesses, 15 businesses, 20 businesses that truly we're interacting with. So how do you manage 7 businesses?
Well, I don't have all 7 now. I've sold 5 of them. So I currently only have 2. But when I started them, they always started out of passion. And like a lot of people start their business, I'm going to make some income. I'm going to do this. And they just continued. I learned how to grow them and scale them and eventually build them to sell. So, I was in them for years. Many of them I was in for years. My first business went global. I was in that for 7 years. The market turned and I started innovating and went into a completely different industry. As I started that grew, and I had 4 businesses in the health and fitness industry and sold all of those at some point. So I own 2 health clubs, 2 weight loss centers. I originally started with just a health club and then added on the weight loss center and then expanded during the 2008 recession, expanded into opening 2 more. And then when I started my coaching and consulting, it's been about 14 years now, I knew that I had built up a lot of skills, a lot of expertise, helping people be able to grow their business, market, sell. And I wanted to really help other people do what I knew to do and not go down a lot of the pitfalls, or not have a lot of the pitfalls and make the same mistakes I made, and just really help them have faster success and simplify things for them. So that's really where my passion came from with my coaching and consulting. And now I have a marketing and media agency as well.
I love that, because the passion you have for the starting of businesses, running of the businesses, clearly you didn't have all 7 at the exact same time, but the 2 that you have remaining is simply because you have a draw to business. It's just fun. It's exciting.
I love it.
So one of the questions I want to ask then is something that I think we can all relate to as we run our businesses is, what advice would you have for overcoming challenges that come from business and life? There's, that balance that we're all striving for of how do we just kind of keep harmony in all the things that we're responsible for?
Yeah, that's such a great question. First of all, I know people talk about work-life balance, but I think as an entrepreneur, that's not even feasible.
Completely agree.
What you really have to dial in or really get very good at doing is realizing when the pendulum is swinging too far to the left or too far to the right to kind of start pulling it back in. So I like to say there are times your family is going to be the priority and your business has to maybe slow down. Or I don't want to say a back seat because you can never, as an entrepreneur, take a back seat. But your business, maybe you're not putting as much time and effort and energy into your business if your business is going along. And then there are times your business requires a lot more, especially in that startup phase when you're just getting going. It requires a lot. And you have to also get the people around you on board, especially a spouse or family. And also, how can you include them? Are there ways you can include them? And that all helps that sort of being able to have that harmony in life and entrepreneurship. But it isn't easy, but it is something that you can learn and is you have to be aware. I think that's really probably the best thing I could say is you have to really have an awareness of what is going on in your business and also around you so that you know where to make shifts or small changes that will make a difference.
I love that. There are two things that really stand out from what it is that you just shared. And it's first of all, sacrifice. A lot of the things that we're trying to do that really come from the sacrifices we make are what lead to success. And that's one of the things that I think we have to recognize. And the second is the value that it is to have a support team around you, friends and family that are willing to actually bolster us up when times get difficult. Those two things I think are very important to know and understand as it relates to starting and building businesses. But your first comment about this whole philosophy of work-life balance, that word balance implies something that I don't think is obtainable. And I like harmony. Harmony is a good word, but it's the realization that something's going to have to give. You're going to have to prioritize things. There's a time and season for all things. And what we're going to do is recognize that there's always going to be something that's sacrificed. And we have to be conscious of not sacrificing so much as to lose relationships, so much as to lose opportunities. So really important what it is you're sharing. So let's kind of move into the business itself. All businesses start, first of all, with marketing and sales. You really focus on that. So what are some sales strategies or tips that you would actually give to us that would help us get more clients?
Yeah, one of the things that I really help people do is build a more premium business. Go after sort of the high end of a market versus playing in the mainstream or going after the low end of a market. And I know that a lot of people think this is difficult to do, but really um, it's about doing things that other people won't. So I've even worked with
Uh-huh.
CPAs and accounting businesses before. And one of the things that I help them do is really determine sort of a package format for their services and transformational services versus just going out and selling themselves as an accountant or a CPA. That's not any different. That doesn't set them apart. And because of that, now people will price shop them. They will almost treat them like a commodity versus this is why I want to work with you. The other thing that a lot of times they don't do is they don't build up a really powerful brand around what does make them different, what makes them special, why should people work with them or choose them over their competitors. And so all of these pieces are parts that can help people play in a different market and also be able to grow their business, in my opinion, faster. So I built premium business in all of my businesses. That was always, and I've done it in practically every type of business that I've worked with, is how can you go after the high end of a market? How can you go after the better clients, the better customers? And it really is about just setting yourself apart, positioning yourself differently, and looking like you are better than the other people, and kind of a no-brainer or the obvious choice for your customers and clients. It makes such a difference in what they're able to get paid.
I like how you're bringing up the word premium and the fact that rather than just offering a service, there's something about the experience that the customer is going to experience when working with you. When they pay, they're willing to pay a little bit more because of that unique experience. And so premium, it means a lot to a variety of people, a lot of different things that is. And what I think is important to recognize is you get to define it because it's your
Yes.
brand. And you used the word brand a moment ago. And for a lot of people, I think that's something they don't consider when they're thinking of their accounting business. My accounting business has a brand. What brand is that? What kind of feedback would you give to someone as you're talking about them positioning themselves in the marketplace as the premium or premier accounting firm? By the way, that is a pun that I intended. The premier accounting firm. And when you're trying to do that, what is the brand element of that? What am I going to do or consider as I'm basically building a brand for my clientele?
Yes, I think it's important to first know where does your expertise and your skill set, excuse me, where does your expertise and your skill set lie, and what do you love to do? Everybody doesn't love to do everything, and so if you can really dial in, what are the things that you feel like you do better than anyone else, and then how do you build a brand around that? But it should also align with your values. It should align with the people that you want to work with, and even your personal life is very important. How do you want to build your business so that you're not sacrificing your life for your business, or you're not building your business, or you're not building your life around your business? Wait a minute, I said that wrong. You're not building your business, you're building your business around your life versus the other way around. So I hope you have editing, Roger.
Well, I'd add this. I would say this. It's kind of the adage of, are you working to live or do you live to work? And a lot of us in our lives find ourselves in the trap of we work, we work, we work. And is it because we're working towards a vacation, a retirement, a lifestyle, or are we experiencing life with the intent of work is who we are? It's how we define ourselves. It's the persona that we've actually taken on. It's how people perceive us is what we have for a living. And I point out that with the job being our identity, we run the risk of when we finally retire, we lose that.
Mm-hmm.
Did we lose our identity? Did we become something that really wasn't us? And so I think that's a lot of things to really kind of consider or think about. And that relates to what you were just sharing a moment ago. But here's something that is an extension of what you're sharing. It's the idea of becoming the expert or authority in marketing, and why that's so important, because there is a philosophy when it comes to marketing of positioning yourself as being the authority, having all the answers, having the information, being a person that people should kind of have in their back pocket to help them run their businesses. But how do you position yourself through marketing to be perceived that way?
Yes, such a great question. Well, first of all, if you specialize, that's one way you can do it. Also, get very clear on who your market is. But there's a lot of ways that you can, we have the luxury of online today, right? That hasn't always been the case. But even on
Correct.
websites and all of that, how are you different? What makes you different? What makes you unique? Why should people buy from you over your competitors? So you have to have a differentiator that really separates you from everyone else, puts you in a category of one. And you can do that through media, publications, writing a book, speaking. Some of my favorite strategies that I help my clients with are podcasting and speaking, being able to share your expertise across channels, or even speaking on stages. I built businesses offline before I ever came online and built them. And my go-to was always speaking. I love a leveraged approach, but there's nothing more powerful than being the person at the front of the room versus the person in the room. And these are all ways to build credibility and expertise. And people are just automatically, magnetically drawn to those types of people if they're wanting to work with the best, or if they want to trust. It speeds and builds the know, like, and trust. And that's ultimately what who they want to buy from, is someone they feel like they trust, someone they feel is the best. And so the outside perception, when you talk about positioning, and I say expert positioning or authority positioning, that's the outside perception people see when they come across you, your business, your brand, what you're all about. And so if that's not dialed in, like, you might be excellent at what you do on the inside, but if people can't see that, or they don't know that, you are the best kept secret.
There you go. Yeah, what I love about what you're sharing here is it resonates because it's something similar to a philosophy that I've used for a number of years. I was introduced to it a while ago. And it's, first of all, because of social media that this exists. And it's the idea that you have to now, in marketing, be more willing to share, be more willing to educate your potential customers. And as you educate them, as you give them information, you become somewhat of an authority because they start to realize that you have a wealth of information that they're learning from at no cost. And so because of this, they're getting this drip of what they need to be doing, why they need to be doing it. But what you kind of hold back and don't share too often is the how. And the how is what you're willing to have them pay for, because now they've understood why it's important, what it is, but they just don't have the means or the know-how to take care of it themselves, and they pay you to do so. So that's the how of what it is. Well, all of that's been based on the fact that you're educating your customers as to what it is they need to be doing and why it's important, and they see you as the solution. So that marketing strategy has proven time and time again to be very effective for the clients that I've worked with. And as we've implemented it, it really does position them as being the premier accounting firm and the expert or authority in that space, whether it's bookkeeping, accounting, or tax type services. So I think that's a good complement to what you were just mentioning a moment ago. But I want to ask about, you've got a method, basically a four-step process to building high-end consulting, coaching, and professional services. I'd like to talk about, what is that expert in you method that you talk of?
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Yes. So most of the people that I work with they're wanting to grow their business. So they're wanting to scale. So I have worked with people that are startups, but mainly they already have things going and now they want to really level up everything they're doing. So the first step, I don't know why I have a little bit of allergy this morning or today, but the first step is we redesign their revenue model so that they can get paid premium fees. So that might be adding services, that might be increasing what they're charging, what they're getting paid. A lot of times I can help people 3 to 10 times what they're getting paid per client. Well, that can have a big impact on your business. So we redesign that revenue model so that you can hit the goals and you can hit it with more profitability. So if you're working one of the reasons I love a high-end market or a premium market is you need less clients to make the amount of money that you have the opportunity to make. So if you want $1 million business and you're bringing in $50,000 clients, you only need 20 of those, right? So most people could work with 20. So it's a lot more profitable, but it also takes a lot less team and time. There's just a lot of upside to being able to do that. So the first thing is redesign your revenue model. The second piece is revamp your marketing. So now what you are doing has to level up. Your message might change, your market might change. The outside perception of your business, of your brand has to level up so that you look like, I always say that you look like the Lamborghini versus the cheap used car. That's really important when people are wanting to pay premium prices. They want to be able to see you as the best. So you want to be able to bring in clients. There are really two systems to building your marketing engine. One is your influence system, which is kind of the things that we were referring to, writing a book, speaking on stages, being seen as the expert. It's that outside perception. But then the other piece is, how are you going to bring in clients? How will you consistently bring in clients? So those are the two pieces in marketing. And then we want to restructure your sales process. A lot of people, they complicate their sales process. Their sales cycle's too long. They don't know how to easily move conversations into closed clients. And so you want to make sure if your marketing's doing the heavy lifting and making it easy for people to say yes, then your sales conversations become very simple. But we restructure your sales process so that you're only speaking to people who are the right fit for your business. You're leveraging your time, you're simplifying the process. And then finally, the fourth step is rev up your revenue. This is where you can automate, you can add team, you can add new revenue streams, you can add joint venture partnerships, you can add a lot of things to your business, maybe more passive income that can build your revenue and grow your revenue, but it requires less of you. So not more of you to scale your business, but less of you. So that is my 4-step process.
I'm loving this, and I'm going to dive into each of these with you because I think they're so important. So let's kind of go one by one through these. First of all, with pricing, I liked how you alluded to value. One of the things that's very important is people are told, okay, you're not charging enough, you need to charge more. The accounting profession really kind of struggles with, okay, again and again and again, you're telling me I'm not charging enough, but there's really no discussion on how do we address that price increase. And one of the things that's been very helpful with the clients I've worked with is, as we've discussed, increasing the pricing is we need to be able to go to the client and not just say, my fees are going up. We need to be able to say, and here's what more I'm doing for you. That increased value that you alluded to is so valuable because it makes the conversation so much easier to say, and here's what I'm doing to add to my past services so that the value is worth you're paying the more that I'm asking moving forward. And it's really changed how I think the accounting professional feels in the implementation of a pricing change. So, do you have any comments as to that value element as it relates to starting this conversation with the accounting professional and increasing their value?
Yes, absolutely. Well, there are two ways that I teach people to price. One thing that a lot of professionals need to understand is they know their stuff and they know what they do for the client and they know the value that they provide to the client, but they don't often know how to articulate that value to the client. And so you have to be able to, the client has to be able to see what is my ROI. That could be time, that could be
Uh-huh.
money. Most of the time money's more powerful, and so there are different ways to price. You can package price and show this is what you're getting, this is what it's going to do for you, but you can also do what is called impact pricing or value. A lot of people call it value pricing, and this
Yep.
is, let's say you're doing taxes and you have a system so dialed in that you know you can help a company, just throwing this out, to be able to get $1 million on their tax returns because you know the hidden places to look because of your expertise. Well, what could you charge for that? Well, realistically, you could probably do a split with them, 50-50 split. Well, that would be more like value pricing. So now I'm basing my pricing on the ROI that I'm going to get for you. So there are really
The
two ways
result.
that you can price, especially in an accounting or CFO services, CPA services. But the other piece of it is you have to be, if you're wanting to really increase your prices and you're wanting to get paid premium fees, you sometimes have to change your market too. And that is something that a lot of people don't realize. Because if you're working with a broke market, good luck trying. They don't even want to pay for your services. And so you want people that are really, they really have a need for your services and they really value what you can do for them. And that's what you have to be able to share to get those big fees.
Very good points. No, I'm loving this. So, just to add to the pricing, I will point out that with my clients, we first of all educate them that there are traditionally five methods that they can choose from. It's hourly, flat rate, menu pricing, revenue pricing, and then value pricing. And like you're pointing out, we do encourage them to pick two of the five that they would provide in their services. And it's a great conversation with the clients as to which they choose to actually implement, how they're going to now get all their clients onto that pricing. And it's a great conversation. It builds around value because you want to be able to justify the pricing. I always point out to the clients that they need to be prepared to explain and justify the pricing that they're doing. But your second point is so important. It is industry specific. You can provide the exact same service to a very poor client, a poor industry that don't have the funds for this, or a very well-to-do client, someone who has the funds, and they'll be willing to pay more because the margins become much greater and the value becomes much more greater simply because the ROI is there. So, same service, it's just what industry are you going to niche in and be able to afford your services. So, now let's transition over to marketing. I loved how with marketing you emphasize the importance of having quality messaging. It's not just kind of an ad hoc thing. It's nothing that you're just kind of winging. It's something that's more intentional, deliberate. It's professional. Would you agree that marketing is something that is that in first impression that they have of the firm, and whether or not it resonates with the potential client is very
Oh,
important?
100%. Everything that people see, again, that positioning, that outside perception, the message, what makes you different, all of those, your branding, all of that is is the driver of your business. And if people can't see that you're, again, that you're different, or you're not, you're one accountant and there's another one down the street, if they cannot see that, chances, and they don't really know either one of you, chances are they're going to price shop. And so you want to take yourself out of the commodity category. And that is where the marketing piece is so important. And the beautiful thing that we have today that we haven't always had for years, I would have to run print ads and ads in newspapers and all of those kinds of things to grow my business. But today, people can just Google you and they can find out about you. And so if you have not built up your online presence, that digital footprint, having the message that sets you apart, you're going to miss opportunities, and you may not even realize you're missing money, you're missing clients, and you're being overlooked because you haven't done the work to build that out. It's your influence system.
I love it. One of the things that I think we have to recognize as a society today is from a marketing point of view, typically before we ever have a conversation with a potential client, at the marketing level, when the client is just learning of us and becoming introduced to us, there's a number of people, a large percent, that do their initial research. And from a professional standpoint, they're looking at your LinkedIn profile. They're
Mhm.
going on and seeing what they can find via Google. And in those searches, they're getting their first impression of us. And we just need to make sure that we've intentionally considered what it is they're seeing, and we've put forth some effort to manage that. And that's one of the things that I think is very valuable, because then that brings people to the next level, which is sales. Sales isn't marketing. Marketing, I define as
Right.
that effort that we're doing to find that potential customer, where they're going to self select or identify themselves so that they can come into our CRM. Now we have them in our sphere of influence, and that starts the sales process. So, how would you define sales? And what do you feel is essential for us to consider as we're looking to sell our accounting services?
Yes. So sales is where the money is made. That's the
Uh-huh.
exchange of money. And the sales conversation or the sales process, when you're selling any kind of professional services, you want to have a conversation. And the reason I love a sales conversation is because if you think about helping your clients in a transformative way versus a transactional way, now the sales process becomes, you almost like build a partnership with the person. So if you're sitting down and you're having conversation and you're uncovering all the different things that you can help this client with, you now can basically transform what you are helping them do. And it number one, you can make more money that way, but you can't do that if you are just, in other words, if you're just putting yourself in the same category as everyone else, you're not going to be able to do that. So sales is just having a conversation, turning that into a client. But then how can you add on to that and make it an even bigger engagement and even higher value? All of those pieces come out in the sales conversation.
That is beautiful. We teach a philosophy called cut to the chase, and it's made up of overcoming objections. It's talking about negotiating, but the core part of it is, first of all, relationship.
Hmm.
It is building rapport with the potential customer so that they feel comfortable, so that they have some trust. They're going to be confiding in us so much information, some confidential information, that we need to have that rapport. And then the next part is basically recognizing that we need to now educate them, help them realize the value of what we're offering, and then position ourselves as the experts, the right people for them to be working with, right ones to be paying to do this service. And in that sales process, you're right. That's where the engagement takes place. The transaction occurs, the engagement is agreed to, and the payment is made. And that brings us to revenue. So what would you say is now this fourth step of revenue?
Yes. So, build revving up your revenue. There are a lot of ways to do it, but you can do things like add automation. You can add passive income streams. I like to teach people, if they're really trying to build and not have to do more, you're going to have to put team in place, of course, and get help to be able to expand that way. So, for example, in the accounting firm, you bring in more accountants. That would be one way to rev up your revenue, and now you're building a firm versus being solo or whatever that is. But the other
Uh-huh.
thing you can do is you can add in other services. So, for example, in the marketing and media side of my business, we actually write a book for people in about 60 days. I have a magazine that is just now being published, an Expert in You magazine, and so that is a whole nother passive income stream. But I have teams that do those things for me. I have a team that writes the book. I have a team that helps people get their podcasts going, whatever it is they're trying to do in their marketing and media. And I don't do those things. I'm just sort of the driver of them. And so all of those things are passive. But you can also add systems, and maybe your clients need systems. Let's say your clients need a CRM system, or they need some sort of an accounting system to keep their books. Or how can you be the provider of those systems and also make some revenue. So there are a lot of ways to build revenue but the idea is to build revenue profitably, and this is where you scale. There's a difference in growth and scale. Scaling is where you're really building up, but you're staying high profit, and it's not really requiring more of you. And so that's the strategy that I like to help people put in place, is how can we add on to this, but not exhaust you, or you're not doing more, but yet your business is really making more money.
That's really important. I like how you're emphasizing the fact that we're building a business here. It's where we actually focus on what we call becoming an accountrepreneur. That accountrepreneur mindset is, first of all, recognizing that we are an accounting professional and we have something to really focus on and offer our clients there, but we've got to do it from a business mindset as an entrepreneur. And one of the things that's really important that you alluded to there is the transition from being a solopreneur to actually then running a business and scaling it, offering quality services. And so what we speak of is the three core services that every firm should consider as they're building what we call the premier accounting firm. And it's essentially just the accounting related services, the tax related services, and then the CFO and advisory related services. Three key elements that every firm should consider offering their clients, because all their clients need each of those to be successful. And so it's just a question of whether or not we're going to, as an accounting profession, step up and provide those things that we're clearly capable of doing. And it's not to suggest that the business owner has to provide each of those services themselves. You were right to point out that sometimes it's involving hiring key individuals that have those skill sets to provide those same services. So wonderfully said. So here's what I'd like to do. I think what we've gotten here is a great perspective on these 4 steps to building a high-end accounting firm. But I want to kind of dive into your business. One of the things that's really important to me is everybody, when running a business, I think has some mentors, some inspiration, some guidance that they use to help them stay focused on what matters to them. Have you worked with a mentor or a coach that's enabled you to actually have those skills in your own business so that you can keep your priorities straight?
Well, I could write a book on how many I've worked with. So yes.
Well, pick one and give me a highlight of what you feel has been instrumental in the successes you've had.
Yeah, I think probably, I think the one of the coaches that, well, I'm going to say my very first coach, because she was the one, I believe, that really exploded my business. Which she was a
Wonderful.
business coach, but she was also a brilliant marketer. She was a student of Dan Kennedy's, and was in his high level mastermind, and
Uh-huh.
was a multimillionaire. And so she was my very first business coach. And what I learned from her was probably the most impactful. And it was also the thing that gave me the passion to want to become a business coach, a business consultant, and just really be able to help other people. So if I have to really think about, of all the mentors and coaches I've worked with, she probably was the one that impacted me the most. Other people I would get bits and pieces from, or I would get things that would maybe move the needle or move me forward, but she probably had the most impact on my business.
Beautiful. And then as it relates to coaching and advising and offering these services, when you're working with your clients, what is one of those things that you feel holds individuals back from actually changing and embracing the things they need to do differently to be successful? What holds us back as human beings that you've noticed that impede us to actually take that next step forward?
That's such a great question, but I would have to say fear, probably, above all things. But I want to speak to that because I believe that as you're building businesses, fear is like a muscle that you work. The more you break through that fear, the more you step out and you do it anyway, even though you're afraid to do it. It is like building a muscle. And if you go to the gym and you do some bicep curls, you don't do 10 bicep curls and say, oh, look at my muscle, here it is. It takes doing it over and over and over again, and building a business and getting a business to high levels, or stepping into working with a $200,000 client or a $500,000 client, like I help a lot of my clients do. That there's some fear that goes into that. So anytime you want to get those big breakthroughs, You have to be able to break through that fear and do it anyway and step into it. And I always say, what's the vision on the other side? That's what you're trying to get to. And some of my best, my when I expanded in the 2008 recession, it was craziness to people that I was opening up 2 more brick and mortar businesses when everything was shutting down, the housing market collapsed, but we went all in. We put everything on the line, our house, our property, everything, to expand and open those businesses. And a lot of people just thought that was nuts. But I saw the vision on the other side of that. I can tap into lower rent, lower everything right now, and get this going and keep my head above water. And when the recession is over, I'll have 4 businesses to sell instead of 2. And that's exactly what happened. But that was scary. That was a big leap. But you can't be afraid to do that.
That is amazing. So I'm curious, as you have family and friends looking and observing this, what do you hope others are realizing as they see your success, as you're taking these risks? What do you hope they're learning?
I'm just such a believer that you can change your life financially through business. I think there's nothing else that can build your wealth and impact other and help other people at the same time. I feel like business and entrepreneurship is the one thing that can do that. And I just encourage anyone that wants more for their life, wants more for the people around them, even generational wealth, whatever that is, legacy, even. What are the things that you could be doing? Build a business, start a business. I just want to inspire people to go all in on their business and just realize what they could have.
That is wonderful. And I've got one last question. What are you grateful for?
Oh my gosh, I could write a book. Too many blessings to count. But I am so grateful. I'm grateful for people like you that are out there sharing messages to help people. I'm grateful for obviously my family, my friends, my life. I love my life. I'm a Christian. I'm grateful to know God, and Jesus is my Lord and Savior. So, but I could just go on and on.
Amen. And I appreciate you sharing that with us. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually kind of wrap this up. Before I go any further, though, I want to actually share with each of you as listeners an offer here that is something that I'd like you to take advantage of. Ann's been very kind to put in the episode description a way in which you can supercharge your business. It's a masterclass. It's a free class that you can participate in. Just go to the episode description and you'll find the information you need there in order for you to take advantage of this opportunity, for you to have an opportunity to participate for free in this Supercharge Your Business Masterclass. The other thing I'd like to also share is in the episode description, there's some information related to offering advisory services, kind of working on your business, what it is you could be doing as you're trying to work on your company and build it, but also service your clients in an advisory capacity. It's a book called Your Profit and Growth Expert. It's here that you're going to learn the 5 things that you need to be doing as you're working on your business. And I encourage you to check that out. In the episode description, you're also going to find some information about authoring. Ann brought up the value of that. If you've considered authoring, I think that's something that you may want to do, as that's a great way to position yourself as an authority figure, as an expert, allowing you to actually be seen by your potential clients as someone that can clearly service their needs. The one other thing that I'd like to do is just kind of real quickly summarize this. It's been a great conversation because first and foremost, with Ann's success having had as many as 7 businesses, she's clearly giving us the insights as to entrepreneurship, that there is opportunity there, risk needs to be taken, but at the same time, there's opportunity. And one of the things that I thought was very helpful in the messaging that she was communicating is the value of our marketing message as it relates to a strategy to position ourselves as experts, being the authority so that our clients are drawn to us. What really also was helpful is these 4 steps that she shared to build a high-end accounting business. It's this method of pricing, marketing, sales, and revenue. I really feel that those are very important because each of the clients I work with, we always have a pricing discussion. Are we charging enough? But when making changes, how do we actually bring value to that change so that the client is welcoming or receptive to that difference that's going to be made? It's the marketing message, what we can do to position ourselves as being that expert, that authority in this space, having good marketing so that we actually resonate with our clients, with our ideal customers. And then that sales experience, recognizing that sales and marketing are two distinct efforts, skills, if you will. And those skills are ones that we need to develop so that we can actually close these sales and get the engagements we deserve. And then lastly, it's taking this to that business level, moving beyond being that solopreneur, basically having a job, doing tasks, to running a business and bringing in those key individuals that are essential to offer quality accounting services. So wonderful conversation today. Ann, what would you like to add as a closing thought?
I would just like to add, always keep raising your bar. There's always more that you can be doing and bigger impact that you can be making.
That is awesome. Challenge accepted. I think that's one of the things that we all need to be doing for ourselves, our business, and for our clients. So that's great. So, Ann, as I wrap this up, my episode here has been, I think, a very fulfilling one. So I want to encourage you as listeners, if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast. Each and every week we have new episodes that come out, actually enlightening us to the various things that we can be doing to work on our business. So I invite you to subscribe now, set your notifications so you get those each and every week when the episodes come out. I also want to invite you to go to universalaccounting.com. It's there that we actually have some podcast playlists where you can actually binge listen to various episodes as they've been collected or compiled into various topics such as marketing, selling, client onboarding, staff training, tech stacks, mental health, just a variety of topics that you may find applicable to your current situation that you want to go deep into and hear from the experts and see what it is they're having to share with you as it relates to those various topics there. The other thing I want to do is invite you to GrowCon. GrowCon is an annual conference. It's a live event for accounting professionals to help them work on their business. It's here that we have the owners of bookkeeping, accounting, and tax businesses join us to hear from the experts off of the stage, help to hear what it is we need to be doing to work on our business. It's also here that you can have the peers come. The peers, your accounting professionals, individuals doing like you, meeting them and being inspired by them, and at the same time collaborating with them. And then lastly, it's the staff of Universal Accounting. It's coming and hearing from those individuals, interacting with the people committed to helping you be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. All of these things are things that you need to take advantage of joining us for GrowCon. The next thing, if you're interested in these principles, working on starting and building your business, I encourage you to check out universalaccountingschool.com. It's there that we have a variety of resources to assist you, or you can give us a phone call at 801-265-3777. And always remember this, accounting success is universal. Take care, be safe out there, and have a great day.